everyone, and welcome to the Chafing Armor podcast. Tonight, I am your Dungeon Master, Dare Stevens, and we are going to have a special one-shot with our esteemed player of puns. And James, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is, of course, James, and tonight I am playing a special character by the name of Grissom Gnarl. He is a fearsome-looking minotaur who is both a mage and a fighter.
And that will come into a lot of the reason for this particular story. So, Grissom Gnarl has been an adventurer most of his life, a former soldier who has many connections, and decided to set up a magic shop here in the city of Jormungand on the great cliffs at the edge of the world overlooking the Sea of Swords. Jormungand is a vast trade city populated by many species, but mostly dragon folk, lizard folk, some merfolk, kobolds, and various other denizens who have gathered together under the watchful eye of the Queen of Dragons in the Decapolis Skilpata, the living island. Grissom has a shop on one of the carved out levels in the face of the cliff overlooking the sea. It is a magic shop filled with wonders and items used to cast all sorts of magical spells. There is a great plate glass window forged by gnomes at great expense. But Grissom has been so successful, he cares not for the cost. So, Grissom, your shop. Early on this weekday morning, you open up, and as you arrange things, you have expansive shelves marked in detail, as is good for a magic shopkeep. Outside are denizens passing back and forth on the mezzanine carved out of the living rock, going to and fro all the different magic shops on this level. There are alchemists and artificers, enchanters, and magic users of all sorts, but you have gained renown as the one who is able to get the most rare spell components. You have access to many different sources of spell components throughout the world from your previous adventures. And you have a beautifully carved wood door, and that door opens and a little bell jingles as a patron comes in, and you see a tall, willowy lizard folk coming in to peruse your wares and look around the shop.
Grissom stands a little taller behind the counter and says, "Welcome to the Taurus Arcanum. How may I help you?"
Ah, yes. The Taurus Arcanum. I came specifically to this city just for this shop. I have heard wondrous stories of your specialties.
Chances are they are all correct.
And you are the proprietor?
That is also correct.
He begins looking at the shelves and wandering around. Your shop is fairly expansive. It's carved deep into the rock. It's about 20 by 40 feet. Shelves and tables and display cases of stuff with your counter there in the front so that you can see all. And as this lizard folk begins perusing the shelves, another patron opens the door and steps in. And it is another lizard folk. This one, where the previous one was kind of greenish, this one tends to be more brown-red, and not quite as tall, but a little bit wider, and comes in and nods to you and comes up and asks, I am looking for some dragon shell shards, particularly from a red dragon. Would you happen to have those in your stock?
Shards of dragon scale. I may be able to help you.
Dragon shell, sir. Dragon shell. I need some dragon shell for a particular protection spell.
I see. Knowing what that is there any kind of idea of what they might be looking to cast based on the ingredient? Because I'm sure that's pretty rare.
Dragon shell is used to make fire immunity potions.
Ah, okay. Let me see what
Particularly,
I can.
red dragon shell is used to make fire immunity potions.
Sure. Let me see what I can drum up here. And, of course, I know exactly where it is, but I'll make a show of looking around and not letting them get an idea of like how I organize things, because then they might be able to find things that I might not want them to find. The basic demeanor of this person, maybe I could try an insight check to see what kind of attitude they have. Are they,
Yeah, go ahead.
Are they being deceitful, or that sort of thing?
Roll an insight check.
All right. Oh. That is a 17.
As far as you can tell, they are being completely honest about wanting the fire dragon egg, the red dragon shell for whatever elixir that they hope to prepare.
Gotcha. And what is the other, the person who came in first? What are they up to?
Roll me a passive perception.
Would it be like a perception or a?
Or yeah, what is your passive perception? Sorry.
Well, my passive perception is only 10.
Okay, so they just seem to be looking at all the different shelves and cases. They just seem to be curious. You don't know if you're actually going to get a sale out of them. They just seem to be perusing your wares.
Okay. And not casing the joint, as it were.
Give me an insight check.
There. Okay, there we go. That is a 15.
They seem to be glancing your way quite often.
Okay. All right. I'm going to first I'll say wait here while I go fetch what you're looking for. And I will go over and head in the direction of the other person, the other dragon folk, and kind of make as if that's where I'm heading to get the component, but really just checking on them.
Okay. And you see he's just picking things up and peering at them. He does seem to be kind of side-eyeing you, but he's not making any overt movements of any sort. And about that time, a third time, your door opens and the little bell rings above the door, and a third lizard folk comes in.
All right. Now things are getting suspicious.
And this one comes in and closes the door but all of a sudden you hear an explosion outside.
Oh.
And then you hear another explosion outside.
Anything visible through the window?
Not through the window. You may see a little reflection of firelight out in the glass and maybe a little bit of smoke out the peripheral. But from the back of the shop where you are, no, you can't really see anything.
I know my explosions. Does it sound like something magical exploded, or is it more conventional?
It sounds like something ignited something in a couple of the magic shops around you. So it sounds like a chain reaction of like if all the fireworks in a fireworks display went off all at once.
Gotcha. Relatively close or farther down the lane?
Close enough that it shakes a little dust from the ceiling, and a few of your glass bottles tinkle on the shelves as they rattle next to each other.
Okay.
And the lizard folk at the front door closes the door and says, "It seems you are closed today." And he reaches in his mouth. He opens his mouth wide like a monitor lizard and pulls out a long, flexible rod that seems to be dripping with slime.
Lovely.
Roll for initiative.
All right. My bonus. Not much. That'd be a 10.
Okay, so they got 2 11s and a 5.
Okay.
So, all right. So you are going to go third, and the latest one, the green one, the dark green one is going to go first, and he is going to stalk back about 30 feet to you in the back of the store where you and the other lizard folk are. And he is going to swing at you with his metal rod. And that is a 12, so that does not hit.
That does not hit.
And a second attack is even worse, and that's a 6, and that does not hit.
Are you using Michael's dice tonight?
Hey!
Apparently. Actually, I used these dice in one of our home games the other week, and I rolled 2 1s and then 3 20s in a row.
Oh, dear.
So, they run hot and cold, apparently like Michael's dice. Right? And so as this tall, dark green lizard folk swings at you, he swings that rod by you, and it does not touch you, but the slime on it flings past you and hits some other things on the shelves, and you hear the hiss of acid.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and now the second one is going to attack you, and you see him reach into the folds of his sleeves, and he pulls out some hand darts and raises his hands to fling at you. And that is a 16.
That will miss.
And that is, that is only an 8. And so he misses you with his 2 attacks as the darts go sailing wide and thunk into the far wall.
Interesting.
Now it is your turn.
All right. I'm going to say, my friends, you have definitely entered the wrong shop. And he will not pull out his weapon yet. He's going to cast a spell, which takes but a moment. And he and nothing seems to happen that they can tell. Although there does seem to be a sound of like huffing and snorting, like low to the ground, maybe like 2 feet off the ground. But nothing visually changes. He has cast Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound.
Excellent. And what does that do?
Be ready. That creates an invisible, intangible hound that, first thing he does is bark when people come within the range, within like a 30-foot range of him without speaking a correct password, which they don't know. And he can also attack people on his own. And he's intangible, so he can't be hurt.
Excellent. All right. Is that your turn, or do you have any bonus actions?
That will
or
be.
extra
Let me
attack?
see if I have a proper bonus action here. Action. Let's see. Nothing that's... Well, that's bonus action. Make sure I have enough space to do that. The one that swung at me, he's like right on top of me, right? I take it?
Yeah.
Okay, and that is a bonus action. So, after he casts the spell, he is going to draw his sword, which is a rather large scimitar that he has on his back. And he is going to start humming a tune and speaking strange words that sound somewhat draconic. And he is going to start singing his blade song, which will increase his AC by 4, increases my walking speed, and gives me a bonus to my con saves. And that lasts up to a minute, so I'll be in the midst of doing that. And that will be my turn.
Excellent. And so as you do that, you see the one that was asking for the red dragon egg shell pulls out a wand and points it towards you. And says some sort of magic word and waves the wand, and a vertical column of fire comes roaring down upon you with flame strike.
Yikes.
From this magical wand.
All right, is that a dex save?
It is a dex save.
Okay. Not my best skill. That would be a 15.
Okay. That saves.
Oh,
and
sweet.
So, you take half damage. Which 10 fire and 10 radiant. So you take 10 total damage. 5 fire and 5 radiant.
Gotcha. Got it.
And that is all that he is going to do at that moment.
Okay.
And so we are back to the tall green merfolk that has the acid whip. And he is going to swing at you one more time. And that is a 21.
That will hit.
And that does 4 points of slashing damage and 4 points of acid damage.
Okay. All right. I'm going to need him to make sure I've got the numbers right here. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Against a DC 16.
And he fails that with a 9.
Okay.
He's not real wise.
Make sure I got this info correct. There it is. Once per short rest. The creature is now charmed by me for 1 minute.
Oh.
Using my stone rune action from my being a rune knight. So he is charmed by me for 1 minute. While charmed, the creature has a speed of 0 and is incapacitated, descending into a dreamy stupor. It lasts for a minute, but they can re-roll their save at the end of each of their turns.
Okay. And so the next one is angling around, and he is moving over to the side of the store to make sure that he gets a clear shot at you, and it's going to throw some more darts at you. And the first one misses, and the second one gets a 19.
Well, that will currently miss.
Okay. So the darts just zip past you. One goes way wide, and one wings past you, and you hear the sound of it, and you hear him grumbling as he's trying to figure out how to deal with you. And now it is you and your hound's turn.
Yes. I will go first. Let's see here. Oh, I don't want to do that. All right, so I have my sword out. I will use my bonus action to activate it so it bursts into flame.
Okay.
And I will run over to the dart thrower, who has been rather annoying. Is he the closest one to me at this point, other than the charmed dude?
Yes.
Okay. And I will make an attack on him. That is that's a 22 to hit.
It definitely hits.
All right, and that is going to be that, and that. Nice. That is, let's see, 9 slashing and 9 fire damage.
Okay, so 18 points of damage. He is crispy.
Yeah, he is. And then I will take, let me make sure I have that right. I do have, let's make sure I don't have number of attacks I have here. Yeah, attacks per action 2. Yes. So I will take a second attack on him. And that is, that's probably not going to hit a 14.
Does not hit. No.
Okay. That's a miss. And then my Doki will attack. He's got a +8 because that's my spell attack bonus. Whoop, 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 whoop. Don't jump away. That'll hit. That's 24 to hit. Nice job, doggy.
Definitely hits.
And let me make sure what his damage is. Oh, Josh, yes. The donkey is fierce. That's 16 points of piercing damage.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he just out of nowhere, just like a big bite goes into the guy's thigh, just from nowhere.
Just appears.
Yeah.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah, there is
nice
growling.
chew toy.
Yeah.
And the lizard man just is shocked and lets out an insane hissing scream. Yes! And looks down, and there's blood dripping out of his thigh. So Now it is the guy with the magic wand.
Mm-hmm.
Your head will make us rich. And he fires at you again with his wand. And that is a flame strike.
I will counterspell.
Okay.
I'm not dealing with that guy anymore.
Roll, let's see.
Let's see. Is it
what level are you doing it at? It's a 5th level.
Well, I got to do it at 3rd.
Okay.
Because I used my 4th level spell. So that'll be a roll, I guess.
Yes.
So I'd have to beat, what's 10 plus the spell's level I have to beat?
15.
Yeah. 14, right? Oh, it's a 5th level spell. Sorry, you're right. 16. Bam.
All right. And so the wand fizzles out, and so the lizard folk kind of looks at the wand, looks down the barrel like Luke Skywalker looking down the shaft of the lightsaber, and shakes it and doesn't know what else to do. And so then it is the incapacitated green guy. He will make his save, and apparently I have Michael's luck tonight because I am rolling horribly low.
That's a shame,
that was
and I'm really
7.
feeling bad about that.
I'm sure you are.
Failed.
So he is still incapacitated, and now we're back to the one with fang marks in his leg and a grudge against you.
Yeah.
And so he is going to run forward to attack you. And as he runs forward, he pulls out 2 daggers, one in each hand, that are kind of glowing greenish.
Okay.
And one is a 14 and the other is a natural 20.
Oh, boy. All right, well, the natural 20 is obviously going to hit.
Yeah. And so that does 16 points, or 8 points of piercing damage and 8 points of poison damage.
Poison damage, yeah, I saw that coming. Something glows green, it's going to be poison.
Yes.
Oof. All right. I'm not feeling so great.
And so roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
And we'll see whether or not you are poisoned.
Con save. I have a +4 to my con saves because of my blade song. Well, that'll do nicely. Let's see, 21.
You definitely save. You are not poisoned in the condition, so... and that was his turn, and so we are back to you and your hound, your faithful doggy do.
Yes, he's going to go first this time. The dog. That is, 19 plus. I think that's going to hit.
Yes, it will.
Nice. And so 18 piercing.
It hits. Oh, sorry.
That was the damage. 18.
Oh, that was the damage. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. So that was your dog doing the, or you doing it?
Okay. No, that was the dog. It's dog's attack.
Such a good boy. Such a good boy. Okay, and that takes down.
Is he still up?
He is still up, but he is not looking good.
All right. I will see if I can take him down with one attack and see here. That is a back to the top. 16 to hit.
Just barely hits.
Whew! All right. All right, that is 8 slashing and 6 fire damage. So total of 14.
Okay. He is just barely standing. He is quite crispy around the edges now.
Dang it. Yeah, I guess I'll have to use my other attack on him if he's still standing. I'm not gonna leave him there. Oh, that's a nat 20. Should I bother rolling damage?
No, he if you had blown on him, he would have fallen over.
Dang,
he falls. What type of attack was it?
It was another flaming scimitar attack. So,
so
basically, just take him right across the chest, and he's just smoldering on the floor.
Yeah, he is split. He is burning. It does not smell pleasant.
Yeah.
You notice that the other two lizard men are kind of salivating.
Okay. Oh, okay. I will turn to the mage lizard folk and tell him, I would suggest that you run.
And he raises his wand at you and says the magic words, and nothing happens. The wand is apparently out of charges.
Oh, that's a shame.
And so he looks at you and nods his head and runs for the door.
So I will let him go.
Okay. He's running for the door, and you have the incapacitated one as well.
Yeah, as I will stroll over to the incapacitated one and pull out some rope, tie his hands behind his back, tie his feet together, knock him to the floor, and kind of just stand over him menacingly until he gets out of his stupor so I can talk to him.
Okay. His weapon is lying on the floor, and the acid is slowly subsiding, but you are going to have a nice groove on your beautiful tiled floor from where the acid was still on the metal whip.
Right. And while I'm waiting, we're going to take a second wind to get some hit points back. Nice. 13 points back.
And while you're waiting, you hear another series of explosions outside.
Okay.
All right. So
has his doofus woken up yet?
he is now becoming aware. And his eyes are very large, looking at you, lying there trussed up on the floor. And he is going to try and spit at you.
Oh.
And
jerk.
Is your spell still up? Your armor spell?
Yes, my song is still going. It's good for a full minute, so that depends.
Okay,
I'd say because it depends on how long it took him to wake up.
So, 17 does not hit.
No, it does not.
And so his spit flies just past you and hits the leg of a table right behind you. And the leg of the table melts and falls over, and a whole bunch of your glass jars and spell components clatter to the floor and crash.
All right. I'm going to... I'm unhappy now. Take some of the remnants of rope that's, I used to tie up his feet and hands and wrap it around his snout a couple of times.
The whole time he's doing that, roll me a opposed dexterity check. You have to beat... you have to beat a 15.
Okay. How
Otherwise,
does a
he's
19
gonna.
sound?
You still have all your fingers as you were wrapping that rope around. He was definitely trying to bite you.
Ah,
He has this acid-like spittle dripping out of his mouth that he was trying to get on you. Kind of trying to hawk a nasty, nasty loogie upon you. And you now have him trussed up.
all right, my scaly friend. We are going to have a conversation. You are going to answer my questions.
And he just kind of blinks at you.
And otherwise, you are going to feel this in places you wish you hadn't. And I show him my sword, which is still lit.
And he just kind of glowers at you and shakes his head.
Oh, you don't think you're going to talk then, do you? Do you? Interesting. Interesting. And I'll hold the flames of the blade close to his face.
And roll me an intimidation check.
Okay. That I can do. Oh, that is a dirty 20.
That'll do it. His eyes get real big as his head starts pulling back, trying to get away from the flame blade, and he kind of shakes his head and moves his hip like he's trying to direct you towards something.
Okay. I ask him, if I take this rope off your mouth, will you talk without spitting?
And he nods his head.
Okay. Does he seem like he's honest? Can I take him at his word?
You can tell right from what you're doing that no, the moment you take the rope off his mouth, you're going to have problems.
Okay. Okay, well, I kind of look over in the direction he was kind of like half pointing toward and see if anything makes sense in that direction.
He has several pockets on his hip. He was kind of motioning you towards his hip.
I will rifle through his stuff.
You find several weapons underneath. You find some daggers and some vials of acid. Apparently he has a motif. And you find a rolled up parchment, tightly bound.
Okay. I will open that up.
And on it is a contract for the heads of magic users in the city of Jormungand, with a promise of 5,000 gold pieces per head for each magic user in the city, from the city of Jormungand.
So it seems you're just some sort of baseless mercenary looking for cash, is that right?
And he just kind of nods at you, and you get the feeling that something is being held back. Give me an investigation check.
Okay.
You need to beat a 17.
14. That is an 18.
All right. So you notice down at the bottom of the scroll is kind of a craftily folded edge of this parchment. And as you open it up, you don't recognize the language, but you recognize your name and the name of your magic shop and what appears to be a very large number indicating gold pieces in the 5 figures.
Wow. I'm very popular, it seems.
And he just kind of nods and glowers at you.
Is there any other reason I should keep you alive at this point?
And when you say that, his eyes get real big. He did not expect to be on the losing end with his compatriots. He's rapidly trying to think of any reason that you might, and he doesn't come up with any. He's not that bright.
Yeah.
He does not come up with anything. He is just shaking his head like he doesn't want to die.
Yeah. Well, I can see that you're not keen on perishing, but maybe you should have thought of that before you walked into my shop. And I will bring down my sword into his chest.
And the coup de grace, there is no resistance. You cut through what seems like leather armor almost with ease at this angle and this with your full weight upon it, and it just goes straight through and bursts his heart, and he flinches and then dies. And you now have two dead lizard folk in your shop, and the other one opened the door. The door is open. You hear screams. You hear people running back and forth. You hear lots of noise coming from outside.
I'm going to just quickly drag the two bodies back to the back of the shop just to get them out of the way. And I'll get a once-over of the first one that I took down just to see if he's got anything important on him or any other information.
He has several vials of what look to be poison to your very well-trained eyes. He has about 10 darts that look like they are freshly poisoned, and the two green glowing daggers.
Yes, those will look great in my shop. All right, I will leave them there with him for now, and I will head to the front door and get a lay of the land, just from the doorway.
Okay, so as you go out the front door, the large walkway carved into the cliff is about 15 feet wide, so there is plenty of room for carts and small animals of burden. There are people running back and forth of various species. You see several storefronts that have billowing smoke pouring out of them. And you see a small gas airship with a gas bag floating along the level, and you see your friend, the other lizard folk, inside of it, having been picked up nearby, and the airship, the balloon, is rotating towards you, and you see what looks like a cannon being turned in your direction.
Oh boy. Okay. Upon seeing that, how about how far away are they from? Are they just off the cliffside? Basically?
Yeah, they're just off the cliffside, about 10 feet beyond the edge of the mezzanine, the walkway.
Okay. Let's see. Is the cannon was it typical within the body of the ship?
It's a small gondola. It looks like it's about 20 feet long, and it is at the prow of the airship instead of on the side.
Okay.
And yes, it's out in the open. It's a flat deck gondola with a gas balloon above it, and you see a firing mechanism to fill the gas bag with hot air. And there's some fans at the back that are turning the vehicle, and you see a couple of lizard folk at the very back end that are turning cranks to power these propellers, and your friend, the brown-red lizard man in the red robe, is getting over to the cannon and pushing another lizard folk out of the way to get ready to fire it.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run over to the edge, and I am going to jump off the edge of the cliff. And as I do, I'm going to cast Misty Step, and come basically back about, to the far back end of the gondola.
Yeah, you easily make that.
Okay, and then run forward and do a goring charge right into the mage to try and knock him away from the cannon.
Okay.
With my horns.
Roll me an attack.
Okay, let's see. Make sure I got this info correct. There we are. Melee attack with your horns as bonus action. Okay. So there we go. That is a 17 to hit.
That hits.
That is 7 points of damage, and I believe he needs to make a strength save in order to get, or he'll be knocked over.
Okay. And he rolls.
Strength. Go ahead.
He rolls an 11.
Oh, that will not do it.
No, he is not strong. He is not anything. And so you hit him, and you knock him back past the cannon and over the gun wall, and he plummets down 1,000 feet to the shore below, next to the Sea of Swords. And he is no more.
Oh, that's a shame.
And there are two lizard folk running towards you from the back of the gondola, and they both have big double-handed swords.
Okay. I'm going to hold my action until they get near me.
Okay. It's not a big gondola. They're right up on top of you.
Oh, okay. And then as soon as they get right by me, I'm going to cast Thunderstep and go back onto the walkway, the roadway off the ship. And that will, let's see, make sure I got the right info here. Space within 5 feet. Okay, they need to make con saves. DC 16.
DC 16 con save. One makes it with a 20, and the other one fails with a 2.
Okay.
So what is the damage from this?
Okay, I was just making sure there wasn't any other effects here. Nope. Okay. Nice. 20 points of thunder damage, or 10 for the other one that saved.
Okay. And is there any force damage with the thunder wave?
No, it's purely thunder damage for Thunder Step. Yeah, they're not blown back or anything like that.
Okay. And so the one is crumpled just outright. And the other one is knocked down. The swords are knocked out of their hands. They fall. The reason they were left on the gondola is they are just, regular workers. They're not trained fighters of any major aptitude. And the one is just crumpled as you thunderstep away and collapses onto the ground. His tympanic membranes are just burst. He has major head trauma. He collapses to the ground, and the other one scrambles back, and the airship is kind of listing without them doing the propellers. Yeah. He is running back to the back, and he's trying to turn both cranks with he's standing between it and trying to make it, but he doing it with two separate hands. He's going in opposite directions, and so all of a sudden the airship just kind of starts spinning in place.
Aw.
And he looks very frustrated. And at that moment, you see a large arrow just pierce him through the throat, through the back of the throat. And it comes through him. And you see around you now the city guards coming up in their various uniforms, securing all that. And you see a few more lizard folk being led away by guards. And one of them comes over to you, a very tall draconian man in plate metal armor, and goes, "Master Gnarl, are you okay?"
I've been worse than this for sure.
Well, the city has been attacked, or at least the magic level of the city has been attacked. We don't know where this attack came from yet, but as soon as we do, we will let you know. Chief Magistrate Monet Bacnato will be here to speak with you presently.
Of course. May I keep that? I point over to the flying boat.
At present, if you can get it and secure it, that would be a great help. At the moment, we do not have any personnel free to go and fetch it. But if you have a means to go and get it, yes, sir, you are more than well able to claim it.
Say no more. I walk over to the edge and I pull out my whip and I try and snare one of the lines holding the balloon to the gondola and then try and bring it over to the land.
Okay. That's going to be pretty challenging. So let's do a athletics, or let's see.
I would say
athletics or straight dexterity.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to hum a little tune. Where is that? There it is. I'm going to hum a little tune, and he's going to get bigger. He's going to increase by one size, which will give me advantage on any strength-based checks that I do.
Okay. There's plenty of room out here on the mezzanine. The next floor carved up is about 25 feet above you. So you have plenty of room.
Okay. Oh, and that 20 will do nicely.
Oh, this is the most beautiful Indiana Jones. You pull out the whip, flourish it around, and fling it out, and it just beautifully wraps around one of the mooring ropes that is attached to the airbag, and you reel it in, and one of the other guards brings you over some rope to secure it, and they are just amazed by you, seeing you there
of
in
course
your
you are.
gigantic size, and
I get that a lot.
And they are just smiling, and they enjoyed this picture of your prowess. They had heard stories, and so they watch as you tie off this airship, and along. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, after I bring it in, I'll hop onto it and reduce the flames so it basically kind of just lands on the ground rather than floating around, getting in the way, just to kind of keep it under control.
Okay, and so as you reduce the flame, the airbag starts to reduce. You notice that there are a couple of other independent gas bags that seem to stay filled all the time, that seem to give it some loft by themselves. And the main bag, of course, gives them lift or descent, depending on how much flame is being given in. And it is about 20 feet long. It's basically a flat gondola with two propellers at the back and rails on either side, and it's only about 10 feet wide.
Okay.
So it's long and narrow, with the main gas bag in the middle, and then two smaller sealed gas bags at the either side of the front and back of the gas bag.
Yeah, Grissom ponders this new contraption he has and thinks to himself about how much easier it's going to be to transport components back to his ship or back to his store.
And there is a fairly sizable cannon on the front,
right,
that does 10d6 damage per shot.
Okay. All right.
And
definitely a nice piece of my arsenal now.
There is a dry case, a sealed case at the front with shot and powder inside of it, as well as wicks, and there's a small flame torch by the side of it.
Right.
For lighting.
And after I get that tied down and taken care of, I'll ask the guard if there's anything I can do to help manage the area.
And he bows to you and says, "Thank you, Master Gnarl. Magistrate Monet is here." And you see a very old turtle with a long staff. This turtle is not as tall as you, but he is probably twice as wide, and has great, huge pauldrons on his shoulders, and some decorative stoles wrapped around his neck and over his shell. And he carries a large staff that is intricately carved and has a very large, gleaming silver spearhead on it that is as tall as your horns. And as he comes up, and that every time that spear staff hits the ground, you feel a little tremble in the earth.
In deference to him, I will reduce back to my normal size.
And so he greets you and goes, "Ah, Grissom, it is good that you are okay. We were attacked today, and I am going to have to investigate what this was all about. We lost several good magic users, wizards, and artificers today, but none escaped. We found several scrolls with scroll bounties for the heads of citizens from our fair city. The Queen is not happy.
I imagine not. I found the scroll for my own head.
Did it name you in particular?
It did, and I'm pleased to say it was a rather large sum of money.
That is interesting. The others seem to be more general, especially the businesses that were attacked with the cannon and bombed out. We worry that you, as our premier supplier of exotic components, might have been targeted especially.
To the DM, I'm going to ask,
Yes, sir.
was there any kind of decree set out? Because I know that they were looking to, as a player, I know they were looking to start resupplying this, like the anti-necrotic potions.
That they have not.
Had there been word sent out about that yet?
Word has not gotten to them yet.
Okay,
They do not know about that yet. This happens before our regular adventuring party has reached the city.
Gotcha. Okay, so nothing about that. All right. I wonder if there's something in particular that I carry that whoever this is in desire of, or wants to make sure that no one gets.
That is my assumption as well. I am thinking that you have supplies that they don't want used, and that worries me a great deal, and that troubles our queen mightily. I would ask you to double check your stores and secure your business, and I would take extra precautions. We will have guards, more guards than usual, stationed here upon this level to protect you and yours and the people of this city.
I see. Well, as far as the city is concerned, I will be closed for a while, except, of course, to any officials that might need anything in particular, but I will need word about that from proper channels. Otherwise, I have some cleaning up to do.
I see. The beautiful windows. The gnomes will provide the plate glass, I'm sure. And so, yes, make sure your business is secure. I would suggest maybe some wrought iron bars over your windows, and maybe talk to Charlemagne the Enchanter about certain other magical protections.
Yes, I believe I could use some wards. Please give the Queen my regards and let me know if there's any other way I can help.
We will be sending a investigator over the next few weeks to figure out what is going on, and they will come to speak to you. Do you have any other instances of these assassins, these interlopers, that might bear information for us?
I haven't seen anything before this, and it seems like was it all lizard folk that made this attack?
It seems like it so far, yes.
Any idea of what clan they might be part of?
Not yet. We are still gathering information.
That may be telling of exactly who they might be working for, or who they might be working with. But I will definitely keep my eye out for any more information.
Was the one that you chased out to the airship the only one that came and accosted you?
Oh no, there's 2 dead lizard folk in my shop.
And he snaps his fingers, and 2 guards rush past you and go in to get the bodies.
Make sure and leave the daggers on my counter, please.
Yeah, they were just going in to get the bodies. And Master Monet looks at you and says, "All right, I'm going to gather up and begin my investigation into this circumstance, and I will let you know of anything that I find."
Of course, of course.
And that is where we are going to end this adventure for tonight. James, thank you for defending your magic shop, the Taurus Arcanum.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I based this character off of a character that I played many, many years ago, and it's been fun kind of recreating him and putting him back to use.
We'll get that picture of the art of your character, Grissom Gnarl. It's a fantastic little piece of art, and we'll have somebody post it on the wiki, and you all will be able to see that when this episode comes out. And so with that, I bid you adieu. You can always find us here at chafingarmor.com or on your local podcatcher. Also, I would encourage you to go to patreon.com/chafingarmor and become one of our Patreons so that we can continue to provide you with such wonderful content. Our Dungeon Master Mike makes dozens of cosplay and reels for you to take on. We make lots of artwork, and these podcasts are our pleasure to give to you. So we look forward to seeing you next time on Chafing Armor, where we scratch your itch for fantasy roleplay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.